Hello, welcome back to another session. We are working on MS Excel 2 using our handout, and we are supposed to save our work with a file name Golola. You will notice that I've already gone ahead to save it with that file name. So I'm going to go to the next step and enter my data and go ahead to working on the different items. So you do the same too. We shall type out our information and move ahead with the different numbers. We have 10 numbers to complete. So let's work on that. I have just zoomed out so that you can see the information I am typing in. I'm going to go ahead and uh, resize column A because some of these cells have information bleeding into the other cells. It doesn't affect it, but I'd just like to see the information I'm typing. Remember, you go between the letters and you double click. Once your cursor becomes a double-sided arrow, you double click on the dividing line, the cell line or the border line, and it will auto size. Remember, we said if you're using a PC, make sure you're using the numbers keypad. It will allow you to type your data much faster and with more accuracy. You will not make mistakes of putting figures that may not be correct. If you're on a PC, it may be a little difficult because to set it that way, you have to have a large PC, a large laptop. Sorry, if you're on a laptop, I meant. Okay, I'm done typing in my information. I'm going to save, Control S, and move ahead to the numbers below. One is to rename the worksheet as cells. So I had already gone ahead to rename my worksheet. Remember, how do you rename a worksheet? Double click on the sheet one and you just type the new name and it gets saved in there. Next, we are supposed to insert a name and registration number in the header section and page numbers in the footer. If you look at the status bar below of the Excel workbook, right now it shows that we are in the normal worksheet. The second one after the normal worksheet, if you click on that, allows you to go into the header and footer section. And once you click, let me zoom out. Once you click into the header section, you will notice that you get a toolbar at the top that allows you to enter the header and the footer section. So for the header, since I'm already here up at the header section, I'm just going to go ahead and type a name. And I could press the enter key and put a number below. Okay, I've gone ahead and put in a number, and we are also supposed to put page numbers in the footer. I'm going to go ahead and use the menu item up here. So I'm going to click on design, and it shows me the section of footer. And when I click on that option footer, I'm going to put in page 1, meaning that it's going to put what I have selected in the footer section. So once I click that, it goes ahead and places that page number in the footer. And after I'm done putting in this, I'm going to go back to the normal view. Remember, we clicked here to come to the page layout view. We are going to click to go back to normal. And you notice that we are back into the normal view where we can't see the header and footer. But when it's time to print our work, the header and footer will appear. Next, we are supposed to calculate the total production cost for each of the months and the total revenue. So here is total production cost. We are going to click right below, and to get the total production cost, we are going to multiply the number of units. This is what was produced times the unit production cost, because each item is produced at that cost and you have that number of items. So we are going to use our formula. Let me just zoom in a bit. This is equal to, we are going to get the production units times, we use the asterisk, and then we also click on the other cell that gives us the production cost, and we are going to enter. And there we have that. And we are going to use the fill handle. Instead of double clicking down, this time we're going to drag to the right so that it automatically calculates what's on the right. And I'm going to just do Control B so that this is bold. I also noticed that I forgot to make this bold. The question said put the data as it appears, and in the handout the data is in bold, is bolden. Okay. Next, we are also supposed to calculate the total revenue. The total revenue is calculated by getting how many items were sold times how much each item is priced at. So we click here. Again, we start with the equal sign is equal to the sales units times the unit selling price. And we are going to enter, and Even for this one, we're going to drag to the right. And the shortcut for making bold is Control B. So also those have been made bold. We are supposed to calculate the profit in each month. And the assumption here is that the profit is going to be the total revenue minus the total production cost. Let me zoom out. I hope we can all see this. So I click where we have profit, and it's going to be equal to the total revenue minus the total production. Notice I just click to get what I need, and I click enter. And I'm going to use the fill handle to drag across. It copies the formula all the way to the other side. And then we are supposed to calculate the tax, which is 30% of profit for each month. So here we have our tax. We start with the equal sign is equal to the profit times, we are going to get our asterisk, and we are going to type 30%. And we enter. And also for this one, we are going to drag to the right. Number 6, we are supposed to calculate the average units produced and the sales, average units sold during the 3 months. So we have averages we are calculating. So we are going to put our average here, the average units produced. Remember in the last exercise, the function for average is the word average. So we start with the equal sign. This is equal to average. And after you type your function, you open your brackets. The average of, go ahead and select the 3 months, and you close the bracket. And we are going to use our tick, and there is the average. And you can round that up, but because it's not possible to create a a product with decimal places, but that's okay for now. The question didn't talk about that. And the average sales during the 3 months, so we are going to come here again. This is going to be equal to the average, and we open our bracket, and we are going to highlight those 3 cells and close the bracket, and we enter. So there is the average, and we are going to save. Don't forget to save your work. Next, we are supposed to hide all the rows except the total purchase cost and the sales revenue. We are supposed to hide all the rows with data except the total purchase cost and sales revenue. So we are going to select these 2 rows. We exclude the headings, and I'm going to right click. Notice that I highlighted from the row number. So I right click, and at the bottom of the pop-up menu, I select hide. I'm going to do the same for these cells here. I right click, and at the bottom of the menu, I select the option hide. I am also supposed to hide these below, the ones for tax and profit, and I hide those 2. There I go. And I save this. Next, I'm supposed to create a column chart with titles and labels to represent the total cost and sales revenue for all the months, and place it on a worksheet renamed Compare. So with creating charts such as this, you don't click for a new worksheet. You go ahead and create the chart, and after it's created, you choose the option of putting it on another worksheet, and that's when you rename the worksheet. So I'm going to go ahead and select all this data. Notice that I have included the headings, yet I have excluded the average and totals because I don't need that. Then I go to insert on the main menu bar, and under the section or the group called charts, I'm going to click on the one which says insert column chart, and I'm going to put the basic clustered column chart, and that's the one I'm going to use. Okay, I hope you can all see my chart. There it is, and the handles are still selected. You'll notice the 8 handles that show that it is highlighted. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and move it to another worksheet. On the chart tools, this one appeared because we have put in a chart. We are going to go to design. On the design menu, on the extreme right hand corner, you have an option move chart. That's the one we are going to select, and we are going to click new sheet, and we are going to call this chart compare. Okay, and then we click OK. And you will notice that the chart has been placed on a new worksheet called compare, and we are supposed to put in titles and labels to represent all the data. So I'm going to click up here on chart title. There is one of the labels, and I just go ahead and start typing. As long as you've clicked on it and you notice the 4 handles all round, you're going to put in an appropriate chart. This is a chart showing comparison between sales and production for Golola Limited. So let me type that in. Mm. I've called it sales and production comparison. Okay, and I enter. So it has gone ahead and put that heading for me there. And I would also want to add axis on the side. You can do this from the main menu bar, and you say add chart element. I prefer to use the plus sign that's right here. This is a shortcut, and we are going to put in the axis. And one is the title axis. We have the horizontal and the vertical. Right now we have the vertical over here, and this one is amount of money, or yeah, we can say this is the currency. We also are going to add the other. Let me just go ahead and enter this one. Okay, and I press enter, and then I'm also going to add other titles at the bottom. Actually, it's already in. I don't need to click it again. It was already set in. I'm going to click on the horizontal axis below, and I'm also going to put in the different months. I'll just call this months. Okay, there I go. I've put in Q1 sales and production, and that is it at the base. I could go ahead and put labels in here if I want to put figures or values. They just say titles and labels to represent. We could add some labels. So we are going to put in here data labels, and you will notice that each of the bars now has a data label. You can go ahead and select specifically where you want the data label to show up by clicking the arrow pointing to the right. We could put it on the inside end. That's one. Inside base. You will notice that for each of these it is showing up in a different format. Let's put it on the inside end. Let's just do that. And that's it. Our chart is done. Then the last part is appropriately insert a text box with the word draft into the chart. Okay. I would like to put a text box into this. So remember, where we go to insert a text box, there are different places you can go. Let me see if we have one here under design. Okay, it's not there. We are going to go to insert on the main menu bar, just like we did in the worksheet. We click on insert, and we are going to go to the extreme end, and we are going to click on text and select text box. And I'm just going to put the word draft over here. I think that looks okay. Okay, there is my text. I'm going to click on the box and go home. I just want to increase the font size. There we go. And let me put it in the middle. And I could rotate this if I want, or I can leave it as a draft, or I can make it bold. What is appropriate? You want to make sure that the word draft does not cover any of the text in the document. It should not cover either the chart, or it should not cover the words, such that someone who is reading is like, oh, why did they put this word over? That is what we mean by appropriate. Make sure you put it in a place that does not affect anything else. And we are going to press Ctrl S to save this work. And we are done with this number 2. I hope you were able to follow and complete exercise number 2. See you in exercise number 3.